So what are the A/B testing mistakes you want to avoid? What should you not be making as a mistake? So firstly, don't believe everything you read. If you read that purple buttons have a 50% greater click rate, well, that doesn't make purple buttons 50% better. If a conversion at the next few steps is 75% worse, then it isn't helping at all. Don't believe other people's results. We've already talked about best practice emerging from A/B testing, and there are even sites to give you other people's results. But just because somebody else says purple buttons are better than green buttons, that doesn't mean it's the same on your site. Your site is different and unique, and it has a different audience. So don't directly apply other people's results to yours, thinking they're going to have the same outcome. Don't end tests too soon. You've got to wait it out. You've got to be statistically significant. And if you finish too soon, you may as well not bother. Don't try and do too many tests in too little time. Again, you need to wait. Lots of tests could just result in lots of losing tests. You need to focus those tests a bit more precisely. You could just end up losing traffic and possibly money. You need to have significance again. Always underlining this. You need to have statistical significance. If you've got the time, don't try and change too many variables at once. As we've seen, it's more difficult to judge what's working. You need to know what elements are having the effect so you can apply the same ideas in the next campaign or the next test. Things may appear to be more dramatic, but then they're less informative. You've got to keep trying. The first test may not be the best, and you might think, oh, well, this isn't really helping, is it? You've got to keep going and keep trying things out and trying for continual improvement as you go. Don't expect big wins all the time from little changes. I mean, if you are, then there could be something else going on. If your traffic suddenly spikes and some massive conversion rate happens that wasn't happening before just because you changed a couple of words, well, you've got to look for other underlying factors that might be actually changing the whole thing. There could be something else happening. If you can, you should try and maximise on the bigger changes first and then concentrate on the smaller changes. But that's going to be down to you to identify what's a big change that could actually have an impact without being some kind of fundamental revolution. Don't just dive right in. I mean, you can try an AA test first out, try the same thing against itself. That might help you judge the software you've chosen to do the test and see if it's actually producing statistically significant results. Although it is unlikely to be exactly equal against itself, that's just the underlying nature of testing. You need to do some knowledge gathering. You need to ask people what they'd like to see on the page. What else could you help them with? Why didn't you complete your purchase? What could we have done to convince you to check out? So these are the sort of things that testing and surveys, asking people, can actually help with. So qualitative data can be really useful to guide the testing. So you need to make sure you're not concentrating on micro changes in conversions, but look at the bigger picture. Concentrate on why you've actually got a website, as I said before at the beginning, and take the subsequent steps to actually improve the whole objective of the website. Don't waste time on variations that win, but not by a large enough margin of significance to actually justify the amount of work that might be involved in making that change. So changing a layout from left to right, that could have fundamentally massive development costs involved, and it might not be worth it for a tiny win. So you've got to test where it matters. Concentrate effort on what's most important for your site. As I say, the whole objective of the website in itself. You need to make sure you've got the fundamentals right. Don't worry about keeping with the brand. Branding may provide a great framework for your company to work within, but it could constrain what you can actually achieve. Sometimes going off-piste may actually give greater rewards. If your brand requires sepia images, but actually a full colour image converts a lot better and actually gets people to press on things and visit things, then you may have to just push that to one side and go with what actually works better. Don't push failure down the line. Don't work so hard on getting people to read a newsletter that it's actually stopping them from buying products or achieving the other main objective of your site. You may have to go backwards if that kind of thing starts happening. You have to get your priorities straight. Again, the main objective of the site is what's important. Don't get distracted with minor quests that then detract from the main goal. Your wins might not be transferable. Just because something works on one section, it might not work on another. You can't guarantee it. Each page and each section has its own set of unique criteria, and you need to keep that in mind. Okay, so the last section is just my final thoughts, and we're going to wrap up what we've learnt here.